Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Cursed Be the Child by Mort Castle. And it's a leisure paperback. Let's go with back cover copy. And there's a very specific reason I'm going with back cover copy. The past. Her innocence betrayed, her body battered, her life destroyed. 5-year-old Lizette lay dying, but hers was a will of uncommon strength for one so young. And even as she slipped into unconsciousness, she vowed revenge on a cruel world, even if she had to wait for an eternity. The present. 5-year-old Melissa loved her family's new home, especially the big basement to play in, and her new friend Lizette. Missy's parents said Lizette was imaginary, but Missy knew that she was very real. Missy could see and hear and talk to her, but Lizette made Missy do scary things, dirty things she didn't want to do, and when Missy told her to leave, Lizette wouldn't go away. Lizette had waited years for a child whose soul she could steal, and now nothing, not even death, could stand in her way. So, for the too long didn't watch folks, I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. I thought it was okay. And this sort of brings up the very subjective nature of reviewing books, at least the way I do it. Because if you watched my video for Sandman by William W. Johnstone, I gave that book 4 out of 5 stars, and it's not a well-written book, but I found it so over the top and crazy and entertaining that I really liked it. And this is basically the opposite of that. There's nothing wrong with the writing, for the most part, and there is some wild stuff that happens, but it just didn't do anything for me. It was okay, and I can't even go so far as to say that I liked it. Now, this has nothing to do with my rating, but this is the reason I specifically wanted to read the back cover copy for this. Because there are 3 very clear lies. I'm calling them lies. First of all, it says 5-year-old Lizette, 5-year-old Missy, or Melissa. It very clearly states, I believe numerous times in the book, that Melissa is 7 years old. And I believe Lizette is also 7 years old, not 5 years old. As she slipped into unconsciousness, Lizette vowed revenge on a cruel world. That never happens. At no point, pardon me, well, I scratch my itchy eye. At no point does Lizette vow revenge on the cruel world. The cold open starts in 1918, and Lizette, we have this guy who's listening to the cries of a child that he has chained up in the basement, and this is Lizette. He's her uncle. Her mother has died, and he has to punish her constantly and has her chained up in the basement because she's a little seductress. She's making him do things that he shouldn't be doing. We're going to get to something else in a minute, and that's our cold open. And it ends with him beating her to death, but she never vows revenge. Then Missy's parents said Lizette was imaginary. Missy's parents don't know about Lizette. She doesn't tell them that she has an imaginary friend. They never once say, hey, Lizette's imaginary. Eventually, the name Lizette comes up, but at no point are her parents just like, that's your imaginary friend. And it says Missy can see and hear and talk to her. She can hear and talk to her. I don't think she ever sees her. Well, no, that's not true. I think maybe she looks in a mirror once and sees her. But, yes, just I just found it funny, especially since I generally don't read the back cover copy before I pick up the book. I read it when I bought it, whenever the hell that was. But when I pick it up to read it, I did not read any of that. I finished the book and then I read the back cover copy and went, well, that's not accurate. So anyway, but that has nothing to do with my rating. So there's another word or two. It says on "Cursed Be the Child," little forwardish author note kind of thing from Mort Castle. I can skip part of it. But the important part is it says, though the book deals with powerful sexual topics, child abuse, molestation, pedophilia, and incest, there are no scenes in the book that graphically depict sexual activities between adults and children. More often than not, such scenes are suggested rather than narrated at all. So that's nice, at least. I've already told you about the cold open. Then we jump to 7-year-old Melissa and her parents. They're in the house, and we actually meet the dad first. He's a writer and a professor, an alcoholic who's on the wagon, and then so we learn about him and the fact that his wife had an affair with someone who was his friend, but they're putting their marriage back together. And we meet his wife, and we meet Missy, and then we meet and his wife is comes from an ultra religious family, and she hasn't spoken to her after her parents died. She hasn't spoken to her sister since her parents died, years and years and years and years. Her sister's married to a sort of evangelical televangelist, faith healing preacher guy. And then we meet this woman who is a psychologist, and she is of Romani. Is that the proper way to say it? She is part of the Romani, and her boyfriend is, I believe, Jewish, but he was raised by the Romani. And the woman, the psychiatrist, she's been sort of excommunicated, but she's got some powers, and all of this is going to tie together in a very weird way. So we meet these characters, and we learn what we need to know about them, and we know of Lizette. So when Missy starts talking to Lizette, and kind of some weird things going on between Missy and Lizette. Holy crap, I'm saying their names a lot. It's slowly building, and if you've read the back cover copy, you sort of know where this is potentially going to go. And there are some very disturbing things that happen, especially once Lizette starts to gain a little control over Missy. And I was reminded of the most recent Exorcist movie, at least as of this recording. Is it David Gordon Green? The guy that did the Halloween trilogy, and then he did this Exorcist movie that I can't remember the subtitle of, that's supposed to be a sequel to the original Exorcist. It's got characters from there. But it brought a bunch of, or maybe three, I don't know if that's a bunch, 3 different religions together. So it wasn't just a Catholic exorcism. It was 3 different religions coming together. And I got that feeling from this because we have the very religious, very Christian faith healer brother-in-law of Missy's mother. Did you hear that motorcycle flying by? It's very nice out today, so I have the window open. Hopefully it's not too noisy for you. So we have the very, very religious, Christian, faith-healing brother-in-law of Missy's mother, Missy's uncle. And then we have the psychologist who is, as I said, part of the Romani. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. And she has abilities of her own, the faith healer is literally a faith healer. So we do have these mystical things from two different religions. Although, they're all worshiping God. But anyway, it just, because of those two things, it just made me think of that Exorcist movie, that recent Exorcist movie. As I said, the writing is absolutely fine. There are a few hiccups, in my opinion, where information is just sort of thrown out casually, relatively late in the book, that it felt to me there was no setup for. Two things in particular. One, maybe you could say there was setup for it, but I don't even think there was for that. And the other thing, I don't think there was any setup for it. All of a sudden, we're just told of this thing, and it's like, what? Where did this come from? Which I'm not going to tell you what it is, unless you want to know. We can talk about it in the comments with spoiler warnings and stuff. But it's not the type of thing that I think should just be thrown out there with no foreshadowing or anything. It just came out of left field, and so it's that kind of thing that just, I don't know, put me off. A lot of people, because of the content, the pedophilia, the molestation aspects of it, I think this is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. And there are some uncomfortable scenes, but that doesn't bother me. I mean, in real life, it bothers the hell out of me. In fiction, it's not going to put me off. It's not going to stop me from reading it. I don't need to set the book down and take a break. So I don't know why it just did not resonate with me. I just thought it was okay. Some people might think it's fantastic. That's the thing with my book reviews. It's absolutely just 100% my own personal opinion. I can't discuss themes and the intricacies of actual sentence structure and all of that sort of thing. I can just tell you how I feel about it, and this one just didn't do it for me. It's got a great cover. It's an interesting idea. I was thinking, again, since I didn't read the back cover copy before reading it, just reading the cold open from 1918 and then jumping to the present day, I jokingly said to myself, did I get a John Saul novel with somebody else's name on it? Because John Saul likes to write about kids 100 years ago dying, and then a new kid moving in the present day and having to deal with that dead kid's spirit. It's a theme that John Saul seems to enjoy. And this very much is that going on, with a lot of other crazy stuff. And we get, we're introduced to characters, and then we don't see them for a long time. Oh, and there is a bit that the author glosses it over, something that happens, by saying that the Romani would tell you that there's no such thing as a coincidence, because it's the biggest coincidence that I think could possibly happen in this book. But according to the Romani, it's not a coincidence. There's no such thing. And that was a weird kind of thing to throw in. So I really don't know what else I can say about Cursed Be the Child by Mort Castle. I don't know that I've read a lot of other Mort Castle, and I'll give him another try if I come across another one of his books. Even though this one did not work for me, it was okay. But what are you gonna? And again, there's no babies. There are no children young enough to be in a baby carriage in this book. So there you go. Uh, let me see. Question for the video. Have you read a book that seemed perfectly fine, but you would, again, just rate it, it was okay? Just something about it didn't speak to you, didn't resonate. Um, the writing was fine, the story was fine, but it just didn't, you couldn't even go so far as to say you liked it, or even more. Have you ever read anything like that? Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, I have. And I can't think of any other examples off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there are probably some out there. As a matter of fact, I don't remember the name of the book. There's a Bram Stoker award-winning book that did nothing for me. It was fine, didn't do anything for me. Can't remember what it was. I feel like it had blue in the title. I could be way off with that. But anyway, what about you? Let me know. Comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. And if you care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Blue Sky in the description below. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.